Ah, Friday. Must be what the day is. It's Friday, February 18th. There aren't a million college basketball games. There's only 16. Usually Saturdays are the big college basketball day. We'll talk about sports algorithms. We'll talk about NHL at the end. We'll talk about NBA in theory and a new thing I'm watching calling the NBA Development Collaborative or whatever. You'll see the link in the description. Somebody asked me to do work on NBA, and I know it could be better, and I kind of know what needs to be done. I have a friend who has built some stuff for the NFL algorithm in the past, and he is smarter than me when it comes to developing macros on certain things. And he'll probably do it, even if I just asked him to, but I'm going to pay him to do it, and I'm going to use the money that you guys pay me to do that. I'm going to, if people are interested in making NBA better by doing some regressive analysis on what the distribution of these different impactful categories are, like how much does margin of victory matter, does possession matter, does wins, losses matter in NBA? Also, on top of that, what type of player distribution makes a really high-scoring player or impactful player? Is it just points as much as we have points up here being used? Are rebounds more important? Are assists more important? Are steals more important? Should we change some percentages around? Are blocks more important? Whatever. I don't know the answer. I don't really care. I don't really care. Actually, I don't want to work on NBA at all. But I know you guys want this thing. Who doesn't want this thing to be awesome, right? I totally understand that and take pride in what I do. So I'll have somebody. I'll pay someone with the money you pay me to do that. But not if people don't pay me, I'm not going to pay him, and we're not going to make it better. But what we can do is we can log the historical results. Is what happens is end up writing a macro that goes through here and adjusts these percentages for every possible number, right? It ends up being like, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 5, this will be whatever, and stuff will add up to 100 all the time. We'll do a bunch of different combinations that add up to, whatever, 100% exactly. And it'll be a different array, and every time you do this, it's going to change that historical results if I've adjusted the formulas properly. I think I have. So whatever just happened, right? It's now 331 to 170 with that distribution. If you change the distribution, all right, so we won 66% of our games with that. If you just got rid of, only cared about adjusted defensive rating or something ridiculous, right? How would that change all the historical stuff? Look at this area right here. Now all of a sudden you win much fewer with that. Like, that's obviously not a really great idea to say the whole team is their adjusted defensive rating. Now, to do weird stuff like this is kind of what I want to look at, but I don't want to focus on this. I don't care. Is that better? A little better. Whatever. Point is to do this algorithmically, or automatically, I should say, and have an algorithm log this, then it logs all these results right here. Or actually, sorry, it basically grabs the cube, because the cube changes, right? So the cube becomes a range. We basically name the cube a range, and what you do is you highlight the area that the cube range is going to be, and you actually type it in. You're like, oh, this is my new all range. Or you put an underscore in front of it to be good, but new all range, or all data, call it. So your new all data range becomes the area that gets copied after you change this, every time you change this slightly, because all these are going to have an impact, right? Just changing that, for example, is probably going to change some results. 331 to 170 is now still 331 to 170. I guess it didn't change enough. But point is all that work, we just burned how much of this 10-minute video? We burned 420. We burned 420. That's what happened on basketball, and I don't really care. So I don't even care about today. But good luck. And you can still buy it for $25 a day. I'm still running it automatically, whether or not I do anything better with it. How about college basketball? For some reason, I love college basketball. College basketball, more predictable. I won again a lot with college basketball yesterday. Like, it's just, all right. So let's glance at it for 2 minutes. Let's give it until 7 minutes. First of all, when you see this and a Columbia team injured, I can see why this is negative 1375. I say my opinion and what I have seen personally, not necessarily even in the algorithm's history, but also personally, I don't take teams minus a ton of points. It seems like a toss-up. You can't ever bet somebody minus 14.5. You can bet the minus 13.75. They're probably going to win, but you get paid almost nothing when you win that bet. So it's kind of like, all right, what do you do? All right, let's look at, we're looking at this descending by margin. It looks like everything's unhidden. So what's good? Are there any underdogs? Of course, no home underdogs, but are there any underdogs? Yes. And here you have an injured Siena. So Marist, slight margin, but Siena 14% injured. But these are bad teams, so this is still a toss-up game. And the line's only plus 106. And Ohio State is hurting against Kent State, so that's not a good pick because they're only at 77%. So you could consider going with Kent State, actually, because they're at home. And although this margin was 10%, but that's still a lot of the team. I think I don't have the results from yesterday, but I know I won a lot of the games that I talked about. So it did pretty well. What else happened? Or what else is going on here? We got another 40 seconds. Well, I mean, this is kind of interesting. Northern Kentucky at Detroit is even money, and Detroit is hurting. We saw, again, that Marist situation, which is like a coin flip, but you go with the team that's healthier, I feel like, especially because it does give them a margin. Anything up here reasonable? Ohio Kent State. Here's Maryland at Nebraska, but Maryland injured a little bit. St. John's against an injured Butler at home. Here's one where they might cover the 7.5 because of the 78% right here. Although St. John's strength of schedule is not that good. Tough board today. All right, that's 7 minutes. Tough board on college basketball. NHL, but still more predictable. College basketball is just so much more predictable, and there are more games. That's why I'd rather focus on it than NBA. Hockey. Hockey had an okay day yesterday. 5-5. St. Louis lost. I was joking around with a buddy of mine. I was talking about the equipment manager, the former equipment manager on St. Louis, the guy that trained me how to sharpen skates at Vermont, and he's good friends with the new coach of Montreal, Martin St. Louis. And I go, it's funny. I go, you probably didn't sharpen the skates and put Ambien in all the water bottles of the players so that Montreal could beat St. Louis and give Martin St. Louis a win. Turns out he doesn't even work for the Blues anymore. He retired. He retired after 17 years. So he's not even there. But the point is the number one pick of the day goes down. That sucks. Close game, but hey, you know what? I think St. Louis is starting to have an impact, and people are working harder. There's a work ethic there that's probably. I think Carey Price was playing, if I heard that correct, when I glanced at the game. That's very interesting as well. I would like to go look at the score sheet and make sure about that. Other than that, some things like number 2 and 3 pick of the day were okay. Washington scored some goals late and hit the projected score properly, so that was lucky, because they were not winning that game. Vancouver won and held on. That's kind of interesting, right? Look at that. I like what the algorithm did there. Anyway, all right, let's talk about today. Forget about yesterday. Let's not live in the past. Today's games, and we got a little over a minute to go. Well, Carolina against Nashville. We got expected goalies, not confirmed yet here, though. But if Anderson does, but didn't Carolina just play against Florida like 2 days ago? A tough game, but probably Anderson again because they had to. Speaking of Florida against Minnesota, that's an interesting game. Florida, a favorite on the road. Bobrovsky going. Look at the strength there. That's the number 3 pick of the day, even though they're the strongest adjusted power team. Like independently, being like the strongest team on this list is Florida. However, the strongest bet is Carolina, it said. Now you have Dallas and Chicago. Marc-Andre Fleury going instead of that guy who gave up a bunch of goals. Odds are still expected, but you don't know yet. Once again, we need to get some finalized goalies in here. And then Brisson played okay. I can see why this is -1. See how close the game it is, though? But Vegas probably pulls it out, but it's not worthy of the line. So the best thing on here, it's a tough board. It's a tough board. We're past 10 minutes. So I'm trying to think, what is the pick of the day? Well, it says, I'm seeing this, even though it doesn't say the #1 pick rank of the day. Is that because Florida's only got 50% win percentage and Nashville's got 0? It's because Nashville's not playing well after the break, actually, is why Carolina is the better pick here. Because even though the difference is only 16% in adjusted power here, and the score is a goal and a half, actually. If Anderson goes, Nashville isn't playing great, so Carolina, I see why this is the #1. But if you also do something cool, I know we're going to keep going because hockey's fun. If you subtotal here, which I like to do sometimes, then you get this total goal thing, which is helpful for project. The margin gets all screwed up, so don't worry about this stuff over to the right. Like, don't worry about what's going on over here. But look at these projected score totals. So which is supposed to be the highest scoring game? It's supposed to be this Florida-Minnesota game. Even with Bobrovsky playing, it has it at almost 9 goals because Talbot, he's got a good reputation. The algorithm says that he gives up goals. He's in the orange here, right? And then this game's not supposed. This game's supposed to be the lowest scoring game. This Nashville Carolina. So it's like Carolina wins something like 3-1, probably even 2-0, 2-1. If Nashville really isn't scoring right now. So it makes me think under here, over, whoop, what the heck? Back to hockey. It makes me think over here it could potentially be under, but Chicago's offense is all over the place and defense is all over the place. I don't know about that. If Ottinger goes, I would agree that it's enough for Dallas. If it's Holtby or somebody else, then I would say no. And then LA and Vegas thinks there will be goals. We don't have goalies finalized yet, but this is probably going to be the matchup. Look at these goalie ratings in the orange. I like Quick, but he's getting older, right? Eichel wants to make a name for himself and maybe score some goals or something. So I would see the over down there. Let's look at what the over-unders actually are. I know I'm going to keep going because I've been doing really well with my betting, and so I feel confident just giving advice and reading this algorithm. I've been betting a ton of things, and I'm winning basically like almost every day. It's like once a week I lose now. Anyway, so what were the odds on the over/under? 6. Yeah, you can go over 6 in this game based on what that algorithm said, because you might get a 3-3 tie, or somebody might blow up and go 4-3, 5-2 something to get it over 6, or you'll push at the 6 at the worst. Then, yeah, here I would go over this, but I don't know. Ottinger can stop him, and then, yeah, wow, look at that. Somebody is reading the algorithm and put this over under at 7 in Florida and Minnesota. That's insane. So under 6 here, though. Under 6 in this one with Nashville, Carolina. But that's funny that the over-under is already at something like 7. You never bet an over 7. That's ridiculous. But that's funny. It makes me want to bet under, simply because that's ridiculous. But it's that, the thing's getting so predictive, you're starting to see that kind of stuff. All right, guys. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning. And if you want, one of the people that wants to pay for NBA to make it better, then go pay for NBA. Follow the link and do that, and that'll get that process going. Because I believe they're on the All-Star break for a week, and I mean, you know how much work I'm going to do on NBA for this week while they're on the All-Star break when I don't want to do it anyway? The answer is absolutely 0, unless a bunch of people start buying this saying, please make NBA better, and then I'll feel obliged to get other people involved and get that work done. All right? Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.